all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. It's finally here, D-Day, Counting Day, the day that is the culmination of months of grueling campaigning by India's political parties and weeks of polling. It is the result of the largest democratic exercise in the world, and it will decide who leads the world's fastest growing economy over the next 5 years. Good morning, I'm Alex Matthew and this is the Daily Morning Update from Bloomberg Quint. Today is the 23rd of May. Now, counting by the Election Commission of India will begin at 8 a.m. today and trends should emerge a few hours later. So do log on to the website for all the latest updates and to find out how the markets are reacting. Yesterday, by the way, after several wild swings, the benchmark Nifty and Sensex ended higher by 0.3 and 0.4% respectively. The rupee gained further and closed at 69.67 against the US dollar, and the yield on the 10-year benchmark bonds ended at 7.26%. That's 4 basis points lower than the previous close. Both foreign and domestic institutions ended up selling in the cash market for equity in yesterday's trading session, while the FIIs net sold 965 crore rupees worth of equity. DIIs net sold equity worth 150 crore rupees. In news back home, it was a partial win for both the market regulator and the National Stock Exchange at the Securities Appellate Tribunal yesterday, while the NSE argued for an interim stay on the SEBI's penalty of 1,000 crore rupees. The market regulator opposed it. The SAT declined to give the NSE a stay but didn't direct a payment to SEBI's Investor Protection and Education Fund either. Instead, it has asked the NSE to deposit 624 crore rupees in a fixed deposit with the SEBI within 2 weeks. Speaking of the market regulator, the SEBI and the stock exchanges have enhanced their surveillance measures to curb possible manipulative practices as well as excessive volatility in the markets today. The volatility index, having gained 7.7% yesterday to end at 27.63, is likely to surge today as well. Now, while the biggest event here in India will clearly be the result of the general election, there are a lot of other factors at play in the global markets. First and foremost, of course, is the US-China trade spat. Tensions continue to rise, with the US said to be planning to blacklist more Chinese tech companies apart from Huawei. China, meanwhile, has been stoking up anti-US sentiment and drawing up contingency plans to bail out Huawei, while also still calling for dialogue to resolve the dispute. Watch out tonight for US jobs data that will likely determine how the markets globally behave. The minutes of the last Fed meeting were released last night, and apparently many Federal Reserve officials concluded that their patient approach to interest rate change would be appropriate for some time, and many sided with Chairman Jerome Powell's view that the recent dip in inflation was probably temporary. In the UK, Prime Minister Theresa May's leadership is hanging by a thread as a high-profile cabinet minister quit and a growing revolt over Brexit looked set to force the British leader from power. But rank-and-file Conservatives decided not to change leadership rules that would make it easier to get her out the door. In her letter of resignation, Andrea Leadsom said that she no longer believed the government's approach would honour the result of the 2016 referendum. In international markets, US stocks ended lower, with the three benchmarks losing between 0.3 and 0.4%. Asian equity markets, if anything, have opened with a more negative bias. All three of the early risers were in the red when I last checked. With that, it's over to Darshan Mehta for the trade setup for the day in India. Crucial day today. Darshan, how are we looking?
Hi Alex, good morning everyone. Today is the big day in terms of the counting day, and a couple of companies have kept with their numbers today. So IGL, Sun TV, Dwarike Sugar, Eros, GIC, TVS Sri Chakra and Novartis have kept their numbers today. In terms of numbers announced, Bank of Baroda came out with numbers after market hours. The net interest income was up 27%. The net loss narrows with better asset quality. Loss on the back of accelerated provisioning. Slippages is higher and provisioning mostly is done for the bank. In terms of other numbers, strong numbers were reported from TCI Express, TD Power Systems, JK Lakshmi Cement and Ashoka Buildcon. Stable set of earnings from Thermax, Cummins and Quest Corp, while weak numbers from GSFC, Jindal SAW, Maninfra, SH Kelkar and Munjal Auto. HDFC Bank board approves to share split of one share into two. Adani Power says that the Mundra unit reported a profit of 820 crores for the first 6 months ended March 31st, 2019 and compare that to a loss of 1440 crores for the same period last year. Imami says that the SEBI has approved Imami Cement's IPO, which could hit the market in the next 6 months. Bodal Chemical plans to acquire 80% stake in Turkey-based Senar Boyak Kimya for 32 crores. The target company deals in marketing and sale of dyestuff and chemicals. Biocon says that Health Canada has approved companies and Mylan's biosimilar product Ogivro, and Mylan expects to launch the product in this quarter in Canada. And finally, DGCA update for April. Indigo's market share increased to 50% while SpiceJet's market share declined to 13.1%. But there's much more you need to know before trade actually starts. For that, log on to our website bloombergquint.com and click on the All You Need to Know tab and you will be prepared for morning trade.
Thanks, Darshan. Well, that's all we have for you on this podcast, but do remember to check the website at regular intervals for all the updates with regard to counting as to who's ahead and who's lagging behind. And also, of course, at the end of the day, when we have the results of the general elections, all the analysis, all the news, all the big commentary, you'll find all of that and more on the website bloombergquint.com. Thanks so much for listening. This is Alex Matthew signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.